you want to rise and serve to the person that you were ordained to be, and you want to empower your team to do the same. Well, hello there, Ingafay here, and today I wanted to share some exciting information with you today on I Did That and You Can Too, episode 12, which is continuous training. Well, I am in this training today and I'm actually on my lunch break, and I wanted to pop in and give you some really great nuggets that I have learned in the course of these last 3 hours. It's so exciting. So I'm just going to kind of read off some of the notes that I've taken thus far. And if you have any questions, by all means, comment below and let me know what they are. I will have a complete guide of this. So if you want kind of a synopsis of some of the things that I have learned, by all means, comment guide below and I'll get them out to you. I'm in the Rank Makers virtual social media training, and it has been phenomenal. The training is via Zoom, and there are close to about 300 participants actually viewing all over the world, which is so cool. A couple of the nuggets that I've gained so far: when we first started the training, it started off with a guy talking about what is the biggest room. And you may be thinking, well, what is the biggest room? What is that? Well, the biggest room is the room for improvement. Isn't that cool? Just think about that. The biggest room that there is room for improvement. Your environment will work harder on you than you will on your environment. So you want to make sure that you're always around big thinkers. One of the things they talked about today was being more vulnerable and just letting people know your struggles and how you've built your direct sales business. I wanted to share that with you because I know one of the people on the panel were talking about how they shared their story, and the reason they share their story and their struggles with others is to be a blessing, because he had a friend of his when he talked about how he struggled with not seeing his dad for over 10 years. One of his friends actually heard his story, and which led him to want to interact with his father. Unfortunately, when he made the call to get back in touch with his father, because I think they hadn't talked in like 17 years, his father had already passed away, which was awful. But he felt that if he had told the story maybe a week or so before, the guy would have been able to actually physically talk to his father. So that was one nugget: to be more vulnerable. How can you be more vulnerable in your business? Nugget 2 was, who am I waiting to give me permission to succeed in my business? Are you waiting for someone to give you permission to build a big business? Because if you're willing to invest the time, the money, and transform your mindset, it's a done deal. But if you're waiting for someone to give you permission, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. So just go do it. Another thing was to do something inspiring, and to be inspiring is just to take action. When you take the action and face your fear, you're inspiring. So if you have a story where you may have stories where people talk about how poor they were in childhood, or how they lost a loved one, or whatever detrimental thing that may have happened in someone's life, if you don't have that detrimental thing, your inspiring story could be just you taking action and facing fear, because everybody can relate to that. You want to make sure you know the difference between being impressive and being inspirational, because there is a difference. Impressive is someone doing something great, but inspirational is knowing the obstacles that the people have overcome to get where they are, which is more relatable and will touch more people's heart when you do it that way. You want to rise and serve to the person that you were ordained to be, and you want to empower your team to do the same, to help manage expectations, and where you put your energy when it comes to you building your sales organization. You want to empower your team, you want to manage your personal expectations, and where you put your energy. It's just love on people where they are, because the culture should be that you make people feel good regardless of the level or desire or results that they get in their direct sales business, because essentially it's theirs and you want them to have that. Another thing they talked about that I wanted to share with you were 2 great ways to market your business is to provide value. I don't know if I've told you guys about this before, but when you provide value, people want want value. When you provide information that they didn't know about, you may have a guide or something for them to have access to. You want to make sure that you're always doing that and not trying to talk to somebody about your product or service all the time. You want to provide value. That was just reiterated over and over again. When you meet people, you can ask them for their email and tell them that you have a newsletter, and your newsletter can just be providing different ideas or skills that you've learned throughout life. I know I have an email that talks about a service that I use that has been a great help to me in just conserving my time, just being more time efficient. So I shared that with my customers and they loved it. And some of them wanted to know more information about it. So when I sent that email, it wasn't about my XYZ product. It was actually about a service that I use that has benefited me that could possibly benefit them. Maybe share a recipe that you love that you would want them to know more about. You could then at the end possibly invite them to look at your product or your opportunity as a means to interact with you, but you're providing that value before you actually talk about your product. So it's like the percentage is 80% value and 20% talking about your product. Another cool thing is they were expressing the importance of an email list and how important it is to get those email. And just like, I don't know if I said this before, you just tell them, hey, I have a great email on whatever, I don't know, health and beauty, or I have a great email on vegan recipes. You let me have your email and I'll put you on it. And then that way you're keeping in constant contact with them. And if you're providing value and they're reading your email, they'll be in a little, I'll just say a little bubble. And then when it comes time for them to buy from you, you have them in that bubble. And then when they're ready to buy, they'll just talk to you when they're ready, more so than you nagging them up constantly about the products. A great question was, how many times can you contact a person via text or call before they block you? And then it was a comparison of how many times can you email someone. Emailing someone is not as evasive as calling somebody or texting someone. So an email is a great way to keep people in your bubble. So when it's time for them, when they're ready to buy from you, they can. 4 great things about email. It's simple, it's inexpensive, it can be duplicated, and it's fun. Say you have a great email that you created, instead of just keeping it for yourself, you can share the email with your team. And then that way they can use the same email as you have, shared it with your team so it's duplicatable. Another thing was talking about updating your Instagram bio about what you do instead of what products you sell. I thought that was a good upgrade to make sure that you put that in. Where you're going and who you want to help is what you want to put in your bios, not about your product, because people are going to be attracted to where you're going and who you're trying to help more so than your product. I am so excited that you guys are here to hear from me. If you want me to continue to give these updates about this awesome training that I'm in for the next 3 days. It's today, tomorrow, and Saturday. I would love to do that. And if you're interested in the guide, by all means, comment the word guide below and I'll pass that on to you. All right. Bye for now.